Hello everyone, it's Adam here. Today's date is March 21st, 2023, and I wanted to record this video just to explain to anybody who is curious how I came to learn about Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate and the whole Tate clique and Tate gang, and what my personal involvement or beef is with the guy. Um, People might look at my tweets or these videos and be like, "What the hell is your problem, man? Like, leave the Tates alone. What did they ever do to you?" So I'm gonna take you back in time and tell you. So I am a guy that has adopted two kids. Currently, they're 9 and 12. I have a girlfriend who has these two kids, and her previous relationship with the guy she was with, he passed away in a car accident back in 2013. So I looked at these two kids without a father when I first started dating her and decided, this is like 8 years ago now, that I'm going to raise these kids. I'm going to step in and be the man that these kids needed to be. I had a good role model as a father. I had an adopted dad who is a Pakistani Muslim. So some of you may know I was raised by my adopted family are Muslims. I never converted to Islam, although I'm about as close as you can get to being a Muslim without being a Muslim. So like we play Surah Baqarah here every night at my shop before I leave. I've been to the mosque. I've fed people during Ramadan. All of that, we're well known within the Islamic community here in Niagara, and all of that is a separate subject, and I'm just kind of saying it up front. So here I am, all these years later, own my house, own my stuff, and I'm looking at my 12-year-old, 11-year-old at the time, and we work out every 2 days. We work out together, and he's a vegan like dad, and I feel like he needs some good positive role models. And he is the type of kid, my oldest Caden, who wants to be a banker, he wants to be a millionaire, he wants to have the yacht, and there's a lot of these new generation of kids that they want the Bugatti and they want the fast cars, and so he's talking like that now, like he wants the yacht, he wants this and that, and he's gone on from fireman, I want to be a fireman, I want to be an astronaut, now it's just I want to be a millionaire. So my thought is and was to help him in a way surround himself as best as he could with people who are already doing that, because my philosophy is, if you want to learn how to do something, find somebody who's doing it or has done it, and then just ask them for advice. That has been my philosophy for a long time, and I still feel that way. If you want to, for example, own your car, get around somebody who owns a car and ask them, hey, how did you do it? If you want to own a home and you know a guy who owns a home or two, then ask him, hey, how did you go about owning your home? And they'll explain it to you. So I am what I am. I'm not a millionaire yet. My house is worth quite a bit of money, and my portfolio is worth a bit of money. I have these different jobs that I do and business management and whatnot. But I'm only one guy. So I was thinking at the time, well, let's find guys who are doing the thing that my son wants to do. So a couple guys came across, the ether, the internetosphere back then, and one of them was Wes Watson. Another was Andrew Tate, but he was kind of ubiquitous back then. I mean, every time you open up Twitter or every time you open up YouTube, you'd see videos of Andrew Tate everywhere. So the thing with Wes Watson is, that's a whole other subject. I don't really want to get into that, but there's guys like Goggins, Joe Rogan, Wes Watson, guys who are wealthy in their own right, but who is living the dream life that my 11-year-old wanted at the time? The guy who was living the dream life, not so much Wes Watson back then, maybe Wes Watson now. Goggins definitely not. But that dream life that a lot of young kids aspire to is what, like the 007 life, basically, is what Andrew Tate seemed to be portraying back then. So I was like, okay, this is one of a couple guys that I had off the top of my head. So I was like, okay, I'll look up this guy's website, see if he has like a mailing list or any type of free information that I can get. And lo and behold, I found a website and I found a mailing list. I emailed and I put my email, adamjosh.com, on the mailing list. And I started, I think that day or the next day, getting emails from Cobra Tate, or AKA Mr. Plenty, or AKA this, AKA that. And at first they were kind of like simple lessons. And to this day, as he is in jail all these 3 months after being incarcerated in Romania, he is still sending out these emails. So I'm still on the email list and I still get them. But it's a part of his ClickFunnels strategy, which I kind of understood back then, but I was like, hey, if my approach back then was, if there is a millionaire living the dream life that my kid wants to live, giving away emails and maybe some tips for free, and if I can print them out and, redact all the swear words. So I have a printer here in my office. So I would get the emails and I would look them through as a parent first and say, like, what is this topic he's talking about? Because a lot of the topics you can imagine that Andrew Tate would write about and send emails about were not really 11-year-old appropriate or child appropriate, but some were, albeit they had some swear words. So I would take my Sharpie right here. This is like last year into early 2022. Take my Sharpie. I would black out the swear words. I would print it out. And I would take it home and give it to Caden for reading. And he thought it was cool because he was learning about guys like Mr. Beast, learning about guys like Wes Watson and Andrew Tate and Goggins, when he was 10 and 11. And now he's getting emails from Andrew Tate. I think I wrote back to one of these spam emails once in the last year and a bit, and before he was in jail, obviously, and I wrote something like, dude, you're not Morpheus. Just after this whole shtick of being in the Matrix and whatnot over and over again, at some point you're just like, guy, you are not Morpheus. If anything, you're Cypher. Like, how do you not see that? But that's the self-delusion. So I'm just giving you a brief summary of, my involvement and how I got to this point. So I started printing out the emails for Caden, and Caden liked them, and I would, among other things that I would give Caden to read, I would give him these emails from Andrew Tate. And full disclosure, I thought at that point that maybe Andrew Tate was the type of guy that wanted to be a role model for children. I honestly was giving him the benefit of the doubt. My kid is asking me, Daddy, where does Andrew Tate get his money? And, at that point, and this is a huge lesson for me personally, I hadn't really put my critical thinking cap on. But as you know, since then, I have. So I started thinking, where does he get his money? And, I have connections in the Islamic community, and I did not use them. So the information that I have now wasn't a result of asking people at our local mosque or asking Muslims that I know or calling in favors from the Muslim community that I know. I did not do that. So I'm not trying to sully the reputation of the Islamic community here and whatever. So I didn't plumb information from the Islamic community. Although between you and me, I could have very easily, but I did not. So I just started looking online, like, what does this guy do? And I found the same as anybody else can back then. I found the TopG supplements. He was on InfoWars back then. I was like, what is InfoWars' relationship with Andrew Tate? I found, I had a bunch of, and every little thread that I pulled like another giant lump of crap my way. And I was like, what is going on? Who is this guy? I found Hustlers University. And then when I stumbled upon the cam girl business, I was like, oh man, I gotta talk to Desiree about this. My girlfriend and I are both on the same page about porn. We are totally anti-porn. I'm totally no-fap. And I don't watch porn. I don't want my kids to watch porn. I think that porn is equivalent to drugs, hard drugs. It's a super addictive, relationship-destroying, mind-altering thing. And it's a new phenomenon to our generation. In the last couple of generations, the abundance of porn, and it's super detrimental, right? This is all before Tate's alleged conversion to Islam, by the way. So something I'm a little bit familiar with, Islam. I didn't even know at this time, before his conversion, I was just looking into this. And still, I was still trying to give Tate the benefit of the doubt. And I was still, every once in a while, if there was a good email, I'd print it out for my son. So I just want you to feel where I'm coming from here. I wasn't like crap posting my way into this story about Andrew Tate. I wasn't looking for things to be wrong. You know what I mean? I have enough issues in my own personal life, but I'm not like looking for problems. So I found the cam girl business and I said, I got to talk to Desiree about this. And Desiree did already not like Andrew Tate. She does already not like, you know what I mean? She does already not like Wes Watson. So she wasn't looking for reasons to even like the guy from the first place. She was like, this guy's a chauvinistic piece of crap. Do you think that wealthy people really behave like this? My girlfriend is European, right? So she's from Germany. She knows a lot of wealthy people. And, really wealthy people, and she's like, they do not behave like this. So she's like, I don't know what he's doing. And my approach back then was, well, he's intentionally living this lavish lifestyle because he wants to recruit younger kids to behave in a more moral and upright way. I was kind of towing the line, right? The Tate line. So I got fooled. What I'm saying, as a 40-something-year-old man, I got fooled by this guy, but not for very long. A couple months, couple solid months, maybe 3 months. I was kind of bamboozled by this guy. And so then, the cam girl business, I talked to Desiree about it. I was like, look, I think he's into the cam business. I don't want to start looking up all the porn sites, but I'm pretty sure that he, from what I've seen in interviews, he, up until 2021, 2022, it runs a cam business, runs this. Then I found out about the casinos, and I started looking into that and realized they weren't really casinos. They were just kind of slot machines that he was renting or owned or leased, whatever. But the cam girl thing really, really bugged me, and really bugged Desiree. She's like, you are not printing out emails from a pornographer for our son. Full stop. And I was like, message clear. I agree 100%. Like, I can't do that in good conscience anymore. Like, that is not the lesson that I want to teach my kids. That is not the influence I want to have over my kids. I don't want them to have that influence. So I told Caden right away. I said, look, when Daddy started printing out these emails for you, I was trying to help you and give you ideas about there's guys out there that are living the life that you want to live, and I thought mentally you could get in their heads and get around them the best you can, to live like them, to think like them. But Dad made a mistake, and I'm sorry. And this guy is into something that I don't even really want to explain to you. And over the last couple months and years, whatever, the last couple months, into the last year is what I was trying to say. Because it's March in 2023, this was going on since last year. He got arrested in December, right? So around November, October, you can see my old tweets. I started realizing what was going on, and I had to explain it to my 11-year-old. So thanks, Andrew Tate, for putting me in a situation where I had to explain to my 11-year-old why it's not a good idea that he reads your emails anymore. So if you're wondering why I take it personally, this is one of the reasons that I take it personally, because Andrew Tate and his creepy pornographer tentacles made it all the way to Canada to an 11-year-old's mind. And that pisses me off that we just didn't know that right away. Why couldn't we? I would have just said, no, I'm not printing out some pornographer's emails for my kid. And that's what pissed me off, and that's what got me a little bit personally motivated to find out some more true things. And as I started looking for more information, I came across a lot of information on the internet, documenting. Most of it was self-snitching, which is a whole other subject. This guy and his brother have some weird mental problem where they want to self-snitch on everything they do. Like, these millennials don't understand that everything is being recorded at all times. They want to double down and actually record it themselves. It's so bizarre. It's some mental issue, and I'm not a psychiatrist. I think that Andrew Tate has been kicked one too many times in the head. So, needless to say, I was a little bit pissed off, and screw Andrew Tate for tricking me, basically. I never gave him any money. I'm happy about that. I never signed up for Hustlers University. I'm happy about that. I never signed up for the War Room. I'm happy about that. But I do regret what I did, printing out these emails to my kid. And I had to go back and explain to Caden that Dad made a judgment error and it was a mistake. And in good faith, I was trying to help him, and it turned out that I was giving him emails from a guy who was running, in his own words, a pimping hose degree business, or PhD. So yeah, live and learn. And I came across people of like mind who were equally pissed off back then. One of them is this Crab Crawler 1, or Nick Monroe, he goes by. And so since then, Nick has been deplatformed from Twitter or banned. Tate's people and his network of losers are in mass flagging campaigns online, getting people's videos taken down, doing witness intimidation. It sucks to be a millionaire and behind bars for 3 months, I'm sure. And that's kind of how I got to this point. So that's my emotional involvement. I respect guys like Nick Monroe who are sticking their necks out there to document whatever they can about the trials. There's some other people online, like Murdered by Crayons on Twitter. It's an alias, obviously. Some people who are putting their neck out there and documenting. There's a Montana vlog where the guy documents his journey in Hustlers University. I've spoken about this in other videos that you can find on YouTube or go to my website, adamjosh.com. But I just wanted to say that if you're curious about my emotional involvement, that's the true story. And yeah, I got kind of tricked and bamboozled, and trying to help my kid find positive role models, I wound up with goddamn Andrew Tate. So the whole Islam thing, whatever. I think he's using Islam as a beard, as something to hide behind, and we call that in Niagara a Muslim in name only, a minnow, and we don't have any respect for that. And whether Ramadan is coming up or not, whether Allah has his back or not, Allah is not going to be mocked, and the Muslim community's reputation does not need to be tarnished any further by this pornographer and guy who, what do they call that? A guy who owns these casino machines. Both are haram. Both are not halal. And he knows that, or should know that. The drinking is not halal. Obviously, he's probably not doing any boozing in the Romanian jail cell. And at the end of the day, a real man would take his lumps. A real man would admit that he was wrong. But this gaslighter cannot do that. He has to, his main forward strategy is gaslighting. If I am innocent, how would I act? And he's acting like that. Because again, one too many kicks to the head, and he doesn't want his reputation to be sullied. He's trying to create an empire for whatever reasons he has. I do not care about his reasons. That's just what it is. So I'm following the trial and the case like everybody else is. Screw Andrew Tate, screw his brothers for what they did to these girls, branding them with tattoos and having cam girls and not even giving them 50-50. It's human trafficking is the bottom line when you're making money off the backs of sexual trafficking and not allowing women to leave your compound. So I'm not a judge, and if I was, as I said before, I would find him guilty. But luckily for him, I'm not the judge. But I feel upset personally about what happened with me and my kid. It was my own mistake, and that's my emotional involvement. Follow me on Twitter at adamjosh.com. Take care. Bye-bye.